Welcome to episode 20 of Rapid Reviews Radio, or as we say it in Texas, episode 20.
That didn't sound any different to me.
I'm your co-host, Kiley Wild, and I'm joined with Pete Beckett.
Hello.
So, how are you for this episode 20?
Getting close to being a man or a woman.
Yeah. Grown up who can drink in the U.S.
Yes, that's true. I mean, I can still drink here, but you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing well. It's been a very interesting week in terms of some of the news that's been coming out, but other than that, I've just been enjoying some games.
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
I, too, same. am looking very forward today. Later, after the podcast, of course. Getting my hands on 2 Point Hospital.
Yes.
I am so happy that is on the Game Pass. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was as well, because I was so close to buying it. And I saw that it was going on to Game Pass, and I went, ooh, I can try this out without actually really paying much money for it.
Exactly.
And see how it works without a keyboard and mouse. And it works really well without it, actually.
That's good to hear. That's good, because I've said it before, but like the only experience in Bullfrog games I had was on the SNES, and playing Theme Park on the SNES. I mean, because I didn't have anything to relate it to, it was fun. But as soon as I got to play Theme Park on the PC, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing, isn't it?
Exactly. So,
there's such a level of control that you get from keyboard and mouse by playing those kinds of games, because it requires you to be very involved quite a lot of the time. And if you can't obviously pick something up with ease and move it or do stuff with it, it's gonna cause confusion and cause a lot of problems, which is why I've been whilst I was testing it out on Game Pass, I tended to pause the game quite a lot. So obviously I'm not suffering.
Right.
And I know that might be considered by some as cheating, but they wouldn't put a pause in there if you couldn't use it.
There you go. I use the pause a lot. Or in Fallout, I use the VAT system a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's
give me a chance to think.
Look, Fallout 4 is a bit different because it doesn't actually stop time; it only slows it down.
Yeah, believe me, that was a shock to the system.
Yeah,
I was like, wait,
well,
what?
because you're used to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, where it completely stopped time.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't like that, actually. I preferred it in Fallout 4.
It takes you out of the game.
Yeah, because the percentages change over time as well. Because
they
they'll be moving, and you might have that one window of opportunity. You've got a 90% chance of causing a hit, but then if you wait too long, then it goes down to 60 something, and then 40 something, and then it might go back up again. It's like makes you realise you've got to pick your most opportune time.
Absolutely.
Whereas it was more of a get out of jail free card in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, and you can pick that off the bingo because we mentioned all the Bethesda.
Yeah, we got it right in one, man. But as you said, the news this week has been very interesting.
Interesting, could be a word to say that. So, I'm going to start off with this as a big fan of fighting games.
Oh, yes.
This is crazy news. So, I will literally read you the article headline as it comes out from Polygon. Yes. And I know what I'm going to say, Polygon. The headline reads, Dead or Alive 6 starts charging players to change fighters' hair color, angering fans.
Oh, gosh.
This is mental, but so not unexpected for Team Ninja.
I was gonna say exactly. It's almost absurd, and yet believable.
Well, yeah. If you go back to DOA 5, I'm gonna call it DOA because everyone knows it's DOA, and I can't be bothered to say Dead or Alive every time.
Like it didn't even register in my brain that was not the title. I'm just so used to it being DOA. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing played DOA quite a lot over the years, especially with 4. But I mean, 4 started to show some of its egregious side, really. But it was at very early 360, so they couldn't really do that many things with it.
Yeah.
But it was DOA 5 that was the worst implementation of DLC that I've probably seen. Where they had the original game come out and the roster wasn't exactly fantastic to start with.
Yes.
It was kind of the same thing that kind of Harry carried Soul Calibur 5 as well, where they pretty much added a whole new sort of roster that kind of annoyed a lot of people, let's say. But so they released it wasn't Final Showdown, it was I can't remember the add-on pack that they had for DOA 5. But they had loads of different characters come in and loads of different costumes and customization options, a whole new version.
Oh, yes.
And someone actually went through on Steam and totaled all the DLC up for that, including the base game and the upgrade. It came to nearly $1,100 in DLC cost, which is madness.
That's insane. That is literally insane.
Yeah, I know you can pick and choose some of it, but that is still insane to someone who wants to own everything.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, before, the game producers, all they had to do, they had to sell a game. And so many people could buy the game. Now, with DLC, they can get that same amount of money and, 2 or 3 people, as opposed to 10 or 20 because they're paying all this DLC money, and it's just like, oh my gosh,
it makes me look at my wallet and go, oh god. I mean
I have purchased, of course, DLC, and I've actually purchased microtransactions, very limited though.
Me too. And
I kind of the criteria I kind of stick to is this a game that I play a lot of? If it is, then I go ahead and invest in it because I like the game and I'm going to keep playing it. But but sometimes it gets absolutely ridiculous, like changing a character's hair color.
That's insane. I mean, they had that. I mean, one of the worst examples of DLC, obviously DOA 5, but was Street Fighter Cross Tekken. We mentioned that in our fighting games episode, so that's episode 16 for people who want to go back and listen to that. I don't know why I remember that.
I'm glad you did, because I can't remember anything before yesterday.
So in that one we talked about, obviously there was 12 characters that were on the disc that were sold as DLC, but the DLC literally was just an unlock code basically for them.
Yes, that's right.
It was like a couple of kilobytes to unlock. It was so mad.
Getting angry all over again.
But they actually had a very robust customization system with characters that you could change their hair color for free.
Yeah.
For free.
Yep.
And that one was terrible, obviously. I mean, but this is like whole new levels of.
This is
I read it and we were talking the other day and I literally saw it and I went, oh my goodness god, what the heck is it?
It's absurdity. It is absolutely absurdity.
Yeah. What are they thinking?
Well, here's the sad thing is we'll know if it's successful if people actually pay to change their character's hair color. So we'll have to watch for the numbers on that.
I don't want to do that because there are a couple of characters in there that are quite iconic. And one of the iconic sides of them is the fact that I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. It's Ayane.
Yeah.
Her purple hair is very iconic to her.
True. That's very true.
It's mostly hooded in this game because of the design she got. But if it's under a hood, why are you going to change the colour of the hair?
Exactly. That brings up a whole nother thing. Ugh.
I mean, Hitomi's got like really nice brown hair, so why do you want to change that?
Exactly.
Hitomi was always my favourite.
I like Hitomi, and all the ones that I can't pronounce. I'm really embarrassed about that. I just can't. Guys, I'm terrible at it. I can't even pronounce English words right. So.
Yeah. To be fair, Bass was the most annoying character in the game.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well.
But
yeah, I mean, like what? I mean, there's an iconic character in there with Ryu Hayabusa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How are you going to change his design?
Oh my gosh.
that is a massively iconic character.
Yeah, please don't mess with him.
Exactly. Like,
I love him.
People love Ninja Gaiden.
Yes.
Or Gaiden, however you pronounce it. I don't know.
See, I don't know. I just know that I love him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great character.
He is. I really do.
Why do you want to change his design? I mean, it's nice for a customization point, but this should just be included on the game as customization, not make people pay for it.
That actually is another point. Again, yeah, I'm bringing up Bethesda again. But the Fallout 4 Creation Studio, or whatever it's called.
Creation Club.
Thank you. You know, I see it like every day, and I still can't remember what it's called. They have the options in there to get like the Doom armor, or
that's cool.
Well, it's cool, but it's like, how does that fit into the fiction? You know, I can't.
It doesn't really.
It doesn't at all. And you know, they've got it where you can change different types of armor, based on other games and stuff like that. And it's like, but that doesn't fit. That takes me out of the immersion. And that's
of course.
That's like they had and I did debate this, but they had Deadpool skin in the actual mods menu.
Really?
And I kind of wanted it, but then I was like, that doesn't fit the fiction. Although I do love Deadpool, and it was really well done. So I opted not to get it.
Okay, so that tells me everything I need to know, that you didn't purchase or download Fortnite just to go and get that Deadpool skin then.
Oh, great. That terrible memory. Thanks. The bad thing is...
Throwback to last week.
Exactly. The bad thing is I actually did download Fortnite when it first came out.
Yeah, so did I.
I enjoyed it, and I think a lot of the people that were playing were more in our age group. And then something happened over that next month, and all of a sudden I'm hearing people that sound like me, but they're 10-year-old boys.
Yeah. It's actually quite funny. So the guest that we've had on previously, Dr. Virtual, literally put a video up the other day of him trolling like a 12-year-old Fortnite, and it was really funny. I'll have to link you to it later, because it was quite a laugh.
Oh gosh.
He's literally sitting there, it's like, this kid is going, why are you playing Fortnite if you don't like it? He was like, I'm trying to encourage people to not play Fortnite.
Very good. Very good.
And he just kept saying he kept making references to TBZ as well. He was like, I'm level 9,000. It was good. It was
very good.
Yeah, this kid didn't understand that he was actually trolling him so bad. It was really funny.
Noobs, children, they need to get off the
Yeah. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll let you pick the next news story.
Oh man, but I like both of. I mean, I don't like. That came out wrong. I don't like it.
Yeah.
They're both good topics, but I am gonna go with Xbox Series X specs have been confirmed by Microsoft.
Yes. So on Xbox, we have been. So Xbox Wire, the official blog of Xbox, and its usual resident, Major Nelson.
Yes.
Oh, good old Major Nelson.
Do you think that's the same guy all these years, or is that just his?
Yes, Larry Herb.
Okay. I just wonder if it's like Dread Pirate Roberts and Princess Bride.
I get what you mean, but it's definitely the same guy.
Okay. Because he's been around a long time.
Like, he has.
Since the Xbox days, like the original.
I mean, he's probably even been there even before they were an Xbox thing. He's probably been involved in the PC development and stuff like that.
Probably.
So, we've had it come out that Microsoft have pretty much officially confirmed the specs. A lot of them were known about. Let's lie here. They were very much very much there for everyone to see. But there were a couple of really interesting points in this blog post that they put up. So they've confirmed that obviously there's 12 teraflops. We already knew that.
Yes.
It's making me flop thinking about the flops.
That's all we're gonna hear for the next 10 years. I kid you not.
Yeah. Well, like we said with the bit wars years ago, like it's now going to be the flop wars.
Yeah. Ugh.
So one of the other things is variable rate shading. I'm not even going to claim to know what the heck that is. I would imagine that's. I mean, they say about hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. I would imagine that probably has something to do with lighting and color.
It does, and it's not new.
No, PCs have had for a little while. I mean, the GTX 10, the 2060 Ti's have had them for a while, and all of that. So, Nvidia and AMD have been experimenting with ray tracing on PC for a fair while. So this and the PS5 are going to be the first consoles that actually have them built in.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm interested to see how dynamic it really makes them, because I've seen some footage of what was the last game? Was it Shadow of the Tomb Raider in that series?
Yeah, I think that's the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rise of the Tomb Raider, wasn't it? And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and then so I've seen it running when I've been at trade shows. I saw it running on a machine that did have ray tracing. It looks nice, but it affected performance quite heavily.
Right.
So I'll be interested to see what they do it. But here's the two interesting points for it. Quick resume for multiple games.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm so pleased. Because I will go and play like GTA and I'll do a couple of missions and I'm like, I really don't fancy playing this, but I might come back to it.
Right.
And then I'll go and start something else up. And it has to close that down to then go and produce, to start up the new game.
Right.
This way, at least I can have multiple games on the go if I feel like it. If I want to do a couple of missions or do a couple of bits on 2 Point Hospital and then go back and play GTA 5 because I'm feeling frustrated and want to go and punch a prostitute or something,
right.
I can go and do that. I can go and do that with ease.
Yeah. Well,
full disclaimer, I won't go and punch prostitutes, really.
Wink. I guess it's a little bit like tab switching in
yeah, exactly.
PC. And yeah, it takes a lot of power to do that, believe it or not. I don't think most people know that. And they are putting power into both of the next gen consoles, so that's kind of a almost natural evolution.
I'd agree.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad about that too, actually.
Yeah, it's a nice function. It's a nice idea, and when we see it play out in the future, I think a lot more people are going to be like, "Yeah, I really like this feature."
Yeah,
from where it is now, and they're explaining it. It doesn't sound like much of a feature, but like you said, it does require a fair bit of power and to be able to do something like this.
Well, I mean, if you think back. Way back, getting the Wayback Machine.
Yep.
Before we even knew about tabbed browsing, and they were telling us tabbed browsing was a thing. I was kind of skeptical, and then tabbed browsing came out, and it's such a minor thing, but it's so fundamental now to your experience on, let's just say on I was going to say on the PC, but just on the internet in general. Because I tab on my phone. I have tapped browsing on my phone even.
Me too. All the time. In fact, my girlfriend doesn't even do it. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, tab browsing.
Yeah.
Do you not know? She's like, oh, not really. I was like, oh, I'd close it down and then go back into it. I was like, yeah, but I can access things so much quicker doing it like this.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm more of a tech person. I will give her that. So let her off in that respect.
Yeah, and a lot of times when we're talking here on this program, we're both coming at it from a technical, we are tech people who've been in it for a long time, and I take things for granted all the time, like tabbed browsing. So
of course,
I do agree that the quick resume for multiple games, I think it's just as you said, it seems minor now. It will become almost it has to be in the future. It has to exist in the future. Yeah.
Back in my day, I remember controllers only had 6 buttons.
Oh, wait. Oh, my gosh. Have they... Okay, brain is a ticking. Okay, so a long time ago, it was really cool to have, for your multimedia rooms, the touchscreen remotes.
Yep.
And then the iPad came out, and that kind of just sidetracked all that, and I just downloaded the thing. Of course. I operate everything from either my iPad or the Kindle, because
because most of it can do
Fire.
most of it.
Yeah, because get this. Okay, this is so dumb what I'm fixing to say, but I don't care. All of my appliances are Wi-Fi based appliances, but they only work on Android. So I had to buy a separate tablet. I sound like the most disgusting person right now. I'm going to stop talking. Okay, forget I said any of that.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. There is quite a lot of problem with integration on Apple for some strange reason when it comes to Wi-Fi enabled stuff. I don't really understand.
Well, see, and now I'm wondering though. Okay. Join me in this journey, this mind practice exercise journey. So, about 10 years ago, I had a laptop, and the touchpad went out. And I was able to download an app that acted as my touchpad for that laptop. I think it was more Bluetooth than Wi-Fi. I can't remember that. Like I said, this is 10 years ago.
Okay.
So, in theory, could we not, with the next gen coming out, almost create our own virtual controllers and download them, let's say, on an iPad or a phone?
Well, technically, they're already essentially doing that by having the PS4 Remote Play.
That's true.
Yes, you can plug you can hook it up via a Bluetooth device, like with your controller, to your phone or to your tablet. Yes. But actually, they do have controls on there that you can just use it. You could just use your iPad as a controller if you really want.
That's very true. Ooh, okay. I may have myself a project next year.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
The only thing that I would see as a problem, as an issue with this, is the latency.
Absolutely. And that kind of brings us on to our next point.
Yes.
Is dynamic latency input.
Yes.
They are lowering the input latency of the wireless Xbox controller. Which, thank goodness for this.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Like, everything runs on a wireless thing. Like, this is my point, is back in the day, okay, boomer. I just okay boomered myself, I know.
Oh, dear.
But everything was wired. There was no latency. You know what you did was what you did. And as we got moved, advanced in the technology sphere, everything went wireless. Yeah. Which, okay, fine, I can understand it. But there's always a latency issue with it, and that's why I usually tend to still get wired based products.
Yeah. If I'm playing something like Halo, versus not...
Well, it's pinpoint accuracy and, like, split-second reactions.
Yeah, it's always going to be wired controller and wired internet.
That is exactly the reason why you'll never have, or you do have them, but they are so awful, wireless arcade sticks.
Yes.
Because fighting games are exactly the same.
I'm just now picturing
that split-second decision, and, it is the key difference to everything you do. Okay.
Right.
So for them to drop the latency, I'm so glad about this. If it comes in at 0, that's going to be amazing. But I doubt that will be.
I can't see a wireless signal ever being down to 0 latency. But I would like to be proved wrong.
Yeah, it would be nice, but we'll have to wait and see on one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go on to the next feature. We won't. This is kind of obvious. HDMI 2.1 innovation. So this is the newest HDMI input that's basically pretty much set for 4K.
Yeah.
They've worked with a lot of different partners in that respect to be able to do that, and as a result of that, they confirmed that it's 120 frames per second support. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say some more stuff that's gonna make me sound like the just worst, disgusting person in the world.
Go ahead.
I'm currently purchasing a projector for my cinema room, and
Yep.
frick me. One of the things that I am having to take into account is, whether 4K is supported or is it, what's the word? Native resolution.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm not finding a lot of native 4K resolution anything.
It's quite hard to see that because a lot of them are now kind of like the same thing with the Xbox One X, where they say it's 4K, but it's actually up-res 4K.
Yes, exactly. So what I'm really saying is, for anybody out there who, we've kind of mentioned it before, but who are, kind of dazzled by the 4K, label being in specs and stuff.
Yep.
It's not dazzling yet. Give it a few years.
It's becoming more commercially viable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's definitely, yeah. But they'll trick you. They'll put 4K and big giant letters, and then in a little bitty parentheses put supported, which means,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it will upscale it. It does not mean that it is native resolution.
Yeah, but the thing is about the Xbox Series X is that actually they are having the support up to 8K, which obviously is future-proofing that machine.
Yeah,
It's all jargon. It's all tech speak. It's all sort of like,
don't fall for it.
One day we'll get 8K. Of course we will. But look at cinemas. Cinemas are usually the cutting edge of technology when it comes to that sort of thing. And even then, they're only supporting, at the moment, Sony Smart 4K.
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right.
So if a cinema goes up to 8K in the next year or so, then you know full well in the next 5 years we'll get that as a home in the homes. Mm-hmm. It is capable now. I've seen one in person, and it just doesn't look any better than a 4K machine anyway.
It doesn't,
because it's basically what it basically is saying that 8K is, we can run 8K on this, but actually it's native 4K.
Exactly.
And it's going to be upscaled.
Yeah, and what I have found, and this affects a lot of people, when you start getting at like the 120 frame rate, I actually start to get nauseous. And
of course. To be honest with you, there aren't many people, and it's very rare to say that actually many people can frame count. It's very difficult of an art. People playing fighting games have been trying to do it for years.
Yes.
And there is only a select few people that can literally go, okay, that's 3 frames, and I can see that.
Yeah.
I can't, and I've been playing them for donkey's years.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, because if
Go on.
I was just going to say, because, I know we talked about it before, but it is, I do want to just reiterate, like the refresh rate has to be fast enough. And
there you go.
Of course, I don't want people to be taken advantage of, financially, but also if you're prone to nausea from like motion games or you're gonna be like, I'm probably gonna put off 8K for a very long time, even if it became available in 5 years, because I get so nauseous. I got nauseous playing Fallout 4 the other night.
That's unlike you.
It's unlike me, but it seems to be getting worse, which I don't know why. So I don't know if it's because I changed TVs or what. Probably is that, actually. My frame rate's higher. And, just be aware of that if you're prone to nausea. Yeah.
Which I am because of PSVR and VR. And even... And this is so weird to think, the stereoscopic 3D on the 3DS made me feel nauseous.
That's where I first discovered it. That is exactly where I first... because I didn't have anything else that would have, like I'd seen 3D movies. I'd gone to, like Disney World or whatever and did their 3D, 4D rides and stuff, and never got nauseous. And then I get the, the 3DS stereoscopic thing, and I'm like, after 5 or 6 minutes, like, oh, I feel like vomiting.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Yeah.
And it was especially difficult playing Mario 3D Land, where half of the levels actually required you to use it, and it was like, I can't even play this game properly.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
But it is. All I was going to add to it was that will become a factor, I believe, going forward.
Sure.
Yeah.
It will.
Mm-hmm.
So there was only one last thing that I wanted to mention in terms of this news story, because I think this is probably the most key feature that they've included in the whole thing.
Sure.
They call it smart delivery.
Yep.
So basically, any game that you have bought across any of the Xbox family, so whether or not it be on the Xbox One, One X, Series X, you only have to buy it once.
Yeah, which I do like.
Me too. So when they were talking about Halo Infinite being on the Xbox One, that worried a lot of people.
Yes. Did me as well.
Yeah, it did with me. Yeah. But it's not going to be the case, because if it recognizes that you're playing it on Xbox One, it will give you the assets to the Xbox One version. If you're playing it on the Series X, it will download the aspects for the Series X version. That is incredible.
I am very pleased about that. I don't like the title Smart Delivery, but I'm glad about that. Yeah. Because when I upgraded from Xbox 360 to Xbone, there were several games, Grand Theft Auto 5 being one of them, that I had to rebuy because I was like so angry. Yeah,
that annoyed the heck out of me. I really didn't want to play that game again. So when it came onto Game Pass, that was when I jumped back in. It was like, oh, thank goodness. I've already bought it. I've just that's it. I just don't want to buy it again because I've already spent full price on it on the 360.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all you're paying for is a little bit, better scaled up graphics. So.
Well, you're actually only buying the game once. So if you buy an Xbox One game, then it's going to be up-resed and upscaled, and that's going to be great. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And with that coming out, actually 2 hours later, we had our first actual confirmation of a game that is going to utilize that, and it's a big one.
What is it?
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, good, because we talked about this exact thing happening.
We called it.
We did. Yes. Yep. Oh my goodness.
Delayed for this reason.
That's exactly it. We said it.
Yeah, we'll high five right now.
Yep. Oh, crap, we missed.
But yeah, I'm so glad that Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red decided to actually go, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people interested in that game, and with the new consoles coming out, some people might have decided to wait. They're not going to have to wait now.
Yeah.
And this sealed it for me. This is a day one purchase.
Oh,
absolutely.
Big time now. Yeah, because that is exactly what was going to hold me back from day one purchase was I know I'm going to upgrade this machine, or go to the next spec. I don't want to rebuy this very expensive,
very nice game.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this shiny game and look at how amazing it's going to look on a new shiny.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. we both just literally have
Oh, it's going to be good. We have called a lot of things on this show.
I'm really surprised.
People should start paying more attention to us.
They have been, actually.
They have been, which is something I meant to announce in the introduction, now that you've said that. Because of you wonderful, fabulous listeners out there, we have passed our first 500 downloads. That is freaking amazing. Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
So I put the post out on Twitter the other day, but because I was actively watching it like I do.
Yes.
And it was quite astonishing, and I'm very humbled by everyone who's listened.
It's very humbling, and we're just so appreciative. And we do this for you guys, and it makes us feel good that you guys enjoy it. And so
I do this for myself. What are you talking about? No, I can't. No, I can't keep that.
I was going to say that you can't even fake that. That's how bad that is.
I do this for myself because I genuinely enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
But I do this for the entertainment of others because naturally we are show people.
Yes.
We
exactly.
We obviously like to enjoy and engage with a crowd, and I've loved every minute of doing this.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Kind of stressful at times.
Well, but that's usually because I've either not gotten back to you
or I'm sitting there winding myself up about listening figures and going, why isn't people listening?
But they are. Thank goodness. They are. You guys are listening, and
you are awesome.
Yeah, you're the whole reason we do this, and we are going to bring you so much more in the coming episodes. It's going to get bigger and better. But that brings us...
With that, we have to move on to some bad news, I'm afraid.
Bad news, yes. Yeah.
So, to anyone over in America would know about the Game Developers Conference, or GDC for short.
Yes.
We over the last couple of weeks, we have seen certain companies pull out of the event, like Kojima Productions, Facebook Games, Microsoft... Oculus had decided to sort of say, no, we're not going to go there due to ongoing health scares with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can understand. Anyone who's been to a convention knows about the convention flu.
Yeah, every time.
And how disgusting those controllers can be.
Oh gosh, yes.
Which is why I said to you I was ill after EGX, and I wish I would have taken my convention health kit.
Yes.
I will be next time.
Yeah, in August for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's now come to pass in the last couple of days, especially, actually it happened on the 29th of February. Some weird things happened on the 29th of February, being the leap year day.
Yes, didn't even think of
that. But they've officially come out and postponed the event.
Yes.
So the usual March 16th to March 20th slot they were going to have has now been scrapped.
Yes.
Due to this ongoing health scare. They said that they had... I will read the statement that they put out.
Definitely.
And I want to mention something else about that we mentioned to each other beforehand, but we'll make light of it on here. It says, after close consultation with our partners in the games development industry and community around the world, we've made the difficult decision to postpone the Game Developers Conference this March. Having spent the past year preparing for the show with our advisory board, speakers, exhibitors, and event partners, we're genuinely upset and disappointed not to be able to host you at this time. We want to thank all our customers and partners for their support, open discussions, and encouragement. As everyone has been reminding us, great things happen when the community comes together and connects at GDC. For this reason, we fully intend to host a GDC event later in the summer. We'll be working with our partners to finalize the details, and we will share more information about our plans in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and that is read straight off of the
GDC
ONF.com.
onf.com/news/important-GDC-2020-update.
Yeah, or just go to their homepage because it's right there.
Or you can Google it and say GDC 2020 postponed.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, you will see a lot of interesting fake news.
Yes. It's true, though. It's absolutely true. You noticed this. You brought this to my attention.
Yep, because I went to go and have a look, and I saw people and I've got these links here. So I've got Tech Radar and Engadget's reporting of this. It says GDC 2020. So this comes from Engadget. GDC 2020 is officially cancelled due to coronavirus. And then underneath it, parenthesis, says organisers hope to host another event in the summer. So how is it cancelled then?
Exactly.
It's postponed.
Yep.
So then we'll go on to Tech Radar. GDC 2020 indefinitely postponed after losing Microsoft, Sony, Epic to coronavirus.
Which is wrong.
And then underneath it says, read, cancelled.
Yep. Which
not
means
cancelled.
Which means they're interpreting it to mean cancelled is what that means for anyone out there who doesn't know. It's not cancelled.
They say it later on in the article. They put down the information that's come from the GDC website, word for word, literally word for word, and yet the title is saying this event's been cancelled. No, it hasn't.
It's an inflammatory clickbait title.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we do see lots of those, even in games journalism, and that's where your critical thinking skills have to come in. Headlines are done a headline that's done in an absolute means that you need to question it. Question everything. That's my philosophy.
I wouldn't say just that. I would say go and read the article and make your own
definitely make
your own mind up from what you've read from that. And to be honest with you, they say about sources and all that sort of thing. Keep your sources secret, but we went to the source. Yeah. The source was the GDC website.
And and
yet they've skewed that source. How is that possible? It's all there for everyone to read, and yet they've decided to write something very inflammatory to the point where people are now having to ask questions of GDC of, am I getting my money back?
Yeah.
Because of it.
And the thing is that on this website, I mean, I'm looking at it now, on the GDC website, nowhere does it use the word canceled. It strictly says postponed and says we fully intend to host a GDC event later in the summer. Word for word, that's what it says.
Yeah. Difficult to I can't even talk today. Difficult decision to postpone.
Yes. Exactly.
Yep.
So
I did notice something on the GDC website though.
Oh, what's that?
Are you looking at it right now?
I am, yeah.
They put a space after time and then a full stop.
After time? What?
Yeah, on the second paragraph.
Mine doesn't have that.
So having it's that's weird then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's weird. That must be a browser thing.
Yeah, I'm on Chrome.
I'm on Chrome too. Weird.
Okay.
Very weird.
Okay, fine. It's fine anyway. But yeah. It's a horrible state of affairs when places like TechRadar, Engadget. I mean, let's be honest here. Polygon and Kotaku have done this a lot as well.
Yeah, that is how they make their money is clicks, and so they have to write inflammatory headlines. And Kotaku is very much known for that.
We spoke about a lot about them last week, didn't we, with Jen?
Yeah, and I stopped. I stopped reading them very, very long time ago because it's just too much.
Yeah, me too. But I sometimes I have to scour them just to see the news for the week. So I will obviously go to other websites to have a look. Polygon, Kotaku, Eurogamer, and places like that I'll go to. But I'll also get some news coming from other sources. So like. I'll watch a lot of YouTube videos with people like Spawnwave, Review Tech USA, who do cover quite a lot of news articles, especially Young Year as well.
Yeah.
And so I generally tend to see that we use these sources quite frequently, like across the entire industry.
Yes.
And it's mainly because they're so easy to just pick up,
Right.
Well, but they are littered with opinion pieces quite a lot of the time as well.
Yeah. And actually that's kind of what my whole concern about this particular, especially with TechRadar, it's such a grabbable headline that others are going to run with it. They'll say, oh, according to TechRadar, GDC is canceled, and that'll be their headline. And then, it'll just, it'll grow and it'll fester and it'll just be, I know we both hate this phrase, but it'll just be the, proliferation of fake news. And I hate stuff like that. Just use your brain, critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like we've lost the ability to critical think nowadays, because literally, like I said to you earlier on when we were putting this together, I said to you about the update in it, because originally it was going to be that loads of companies have pulled out.
Yes.
Then on my afternoon out yesterday, where I finally got let out of the house. I'm joking. I went out for the afternoon and I saw on the train home, I was like, okay, so they have actually cancelled it now. That's smart decision making.
Right.
And then this morning when I was showing you, I then looked at all these articles that were coming out and I went, what?
Yeah, because you kept saying, you kept saying canceled, and I was like, canceled, and then you're like, that was announced today, and then we start looking, and it's like, no, it's Tech Radar that has totally skewed this.
Yeah, I was confused. I really thought GDC cancelled the event, and then I went back and read the statement again that I saw yesterday.
Yep.
And it made no mention of that. So Tech Radar, Engadget, and Tech Advisor, I think, was another one. We've caught you.
Yep. We
caught you in your fake news pushing.
We're on to you.
Yep. And this is just there's another thing for our fans to go out and just go, okay, we may give you some news stories. Go and research them yourself as well, because we can't be trusted. You have to be critical thinkers. You have to know what people are pushing out as fact.
Absolutely.
And we don't claim to be fact. We just claim to mirror what we see, basically. And we have a discussion based on what our opinions of that is, and that's what critical thinking is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, as I said, question everything.
Always. Yeah, never believe everything that you're fed to at all.
Yes.
It might be Soylent Green.
It might be. It's people. Why would you name your company Soylent Green?
I'm so glad you picked up on that and actually went with it. That was good.
I'm just like, I still cannot believe that a nutrition company has named their company Soylent Green, which is just renowned, for being people.
Oh, are we basically saying Soylent, i.e. soy, is made out of people?
Hey, they say it does increase estrogen, so maybe there is some genetic material in there. I know, I'm kind of grossed out now.
Yeah, I know. We'll move on then.
Yes, we'll move on. We're moving on to the You Got This segment, which is our 2-minute segment that's never 2 minutes.
May actually be this week.
It may be this week. I'm going to keep it very short, sweet, simple. It's just a reiteration of stuff we've said before, and then we're going to continue to say as long as we do this podcast.
Sure.
Keep an eye on your friends. Look for any signs that show that they may be isolating themselves or withdrawing. Or they might say things like, I just wish I wasn't here, or I wish I could go to sleep and never wake up. And
that's really worrying signs when you see things like that.
Yeah, those are red flags. A lot of people kind of dismiss those statements because they're so they don't directly say, oh, I'm going to do harm to myself. So people kind of dismiss them, but. All of those are, huge red flags. And
absolutely.
While I don't go for a lot of the kind of, buzzwords and all that the little phrases and stuff that are, around. One thing I do believe in is check on your friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even if it's just a message, just a little, hey, you okay? Because even if they don't respond, they've seen it. I promise.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's the same thing over this week. You've done it to me. I've done it to you. I've done it to a few other people in our Discord because, some of us are having a particularly hard time with things, Yep. It's just nice to know that there is someone there just on your side, on your shoulder, just going, are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
The key, they are the 3 most important words to someone who is really struggling at that time. Are you okay?
Yeah. It absolutely is.
I'll preface this with another couple of words. Do you want to talk?
Ooh. Yeah, that's another good one. And I guarantee you, again, I'm going to say it may seem like they're not responding to you. It may seem like you've typed it into just invisible air or whatever. I promise they've seen it. And I promise it gets through. It does.
It does. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. I mean, you may not have responded, but it kind of did.
Yeah.
I know, but it did get through, obviously. And you were there. And then, obviously, Friday night, we were doing some pre-preparation stuff for the next coming months, because we're very well planned and all that sort of thing. So then obviously you were talking about things and I was talking about things, and it just ended up being like a 2.5-hour conversation where we never intended for that to happen, but you had stuff to talk about and I had stuff to talk about, and the same thing happened before we were recording. There's another hour or so trying to make sure you were okay, because I could just hear it in your voice that something wasn't right.
It is strange, the way it happens. And that's one thing that I really want to push before I give the Samaritan's number again. But just because this goes back to the critical thinking and question everything. Just because a person looks physically happy, healthy, chatting, laughing, blah blah blah,
not always the case.
That's not always the truth. No, that isn't. In fact, I know for me, just personally, I can only speak, of course, for my personal self.
Of course,
is the worse I feel on the inside, the happier and more expressive and more engaging I will be in public. Because I'm trying to deflect is really what it comes down to. Now, people are easy to deflect, but
I'd say I'm completely opposite, actually.
You are the opposite.
if I'm happy and joking and laughing, then okay. But if I'm walking around with a face like thunder, then you know full well I am in a bad mood.
I can tell by the tone of your typing.
Even when typing.
Because it changes, like it just completely changes. But that's funny. But like don't let the happy-go-lucky, person that has everybody laughing. Actually, usually the person that has everybody laughing is the one that's hurting the most. I don't know why that happens. That's why comedians, a lot of our favorite comedians out there, Jim Carrey being one we've talked about several times, they are some of the most hurting and clinically depressed people there are. Well,
the thing is they use comedy as a way to sort of make everyone else feel better, but it doesn't make them feel better.
Right.
Which is quite a weird thing, really, is that if you feel like you can make someone laugh, then that's always quite a nice feeling, but that feeling doesn't always last, because it doesn't bear down into the actual root of the problem. It's just a deflection tactic.
That's exactly what it is. And it's funny, I did not think that this would come back, but I was reading about several comedians that I used to listen to. We're talking, they're from like the 50s and stuff. There's like Don Rickles and Jonathan Winters. I think he's the one that I was looking at. Jonathan Winters was on a show with Robin Williams. He played because Robin Williams was on a TV show called Mork and Mindy. He played
classic.
And he played their child because apparently the people from Ork age backwards. So this old fat guy was like young Robin Williams' child. But I was looking at, so I was reading about him, and I was reading about Don Rickles, and I was reading about just these different actors from around that time. And one of them was, it was in the Wikipedia article, and it ended with, after all of his movies, television, and radio roles, he devoted the rest of his life trying to find out the secret of happiness. That... Wow, that... I
mean, that eventually led to his downfall in the end. Untimely and unfortunate as it was.
And I think that is a huge... It's a small phrase, a small sentence, in the midst of this giant article that I was reading. And it spoke volumes. And it actually made me feel somewhat better because from the outside, I appear very successful. And I've had people go, what do you have to be sad about? You're not homeless. You're not sleeping on the street. I feel even worse.
I hate that.
I hate that. That really upset me. That happened just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, of course.
But for many years now, and even stronger now, the more successful I am, the more I too am trying to find the secret to happiness. And that I'm tying this all back together in that you can see someone and think they are the happiest, most successful. I mean, what have they got to be sad about? They've got the world on a string, which I don't actually know what that phrase means, but we're going to say it. Yeah. And they can be just hurting inside. So just be very, very aware of that. And then, of course, I'll give out the Samaritan's number again. And they say call anytime, day or night. It's free and anonymous. And that number is 116-123. And you can email them as well if you're like me and not a big fan of the phone, which is Joe, at Samaritans.org.
Good.
So, And as always, you got this. You really do.
Yep.
Yeah.
You may be having a tough time, but the sun always rises eventually.
It does. Yes. Absolutely. Definitely. It will get better.
Yeah.
Nothing stays the same. Yep.
No.
All right.
Okay. So there was some news that came out over the last couple of weeks that we've been leaving alone. Quite an important news story, I think.
Yes.
Where a lot of things have been happening with a service called GeForce Now.
Yes.
I didn't want to mention it over the last couple of weeks, mainly because I wasn't sure what it was. Now, after doing a bit more research, I see it's a game streaming service.
Yeah, by
that basically
NVIDIA,
links.
which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it links your Steam account to this service, so it means that you can play them through their server remotely, which I think is a really good idea.
Yes.
But companies have been removing their support for GeForce Now. So it sort of made me think and wonder when we were sitting here wondering, what are we going to cover this week? I wanted to talk about the Project xCloud and Stadia, GeForce Now, and where we see game streaming actually going from here. Because we've seen streaming services with movies and TV shows like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, depending on what country you're in, of course. And we've seen that having a vast amount of success to the point where movies are coming out on those services at the same time they're coming out in cinema releases.
Right.
Which is quite interesting. So, where does game streaming sit right now, and where do we see it in 5 years or so?
Right.
So
I like this.
Yeah, I mean, considering we only thought about this 20 minutes before we jumped on.
Don't give our secrets away.
I'm sorry. We struggled for a topic this week because we were wondering about whether or not to talk about DLC. Yeah, but we will cover that again in a future episode, I think.
Yeah. It is funny, though, how, we can have certain things planned out. We've got some things planned out for 6 months in advance. And then other things we're like,
Yeah, I was literally just having, the moments over the last couple of days. It's what are we going to talk about?
But I actually find this a fascinating topic because okay. Get back in your Wayback Machine again.
Yep, we like that Wayback Machine.
Yep. We're going to go back to the early 2000s.
The good time in PC gaming.
Yes, and Netflix and Blockbuster ads were all over the internet.
Yep.
And you just kind of rolled your eyes at them because it was a DVD, rental. You could rent it on the internet, and they'd send you the DVD.
Yeah.
That just seemed untenable to me. That would
of course. And
never work. Yeah.
We kind of had it here as well, where
You have Love.
Netflix originally started out as the DVD sending. Love Film was a huge one.
That's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, they got bought out by Amazon.
They did. Well, round about the same time, a service called GameFly started, and I'm pretty sure.
Oh God, GameFly! Mm-hmm. How can I forget about GameFly?
Exactly. Like, it's always been in the back of my head, because it just didn't do very well, and then all of a sudden here we are. We're 17 years later from the day it started. So almost 20 years later. Holy crap, I'm old.
I know. Oh
my gosh.
You don't have to tell me that twice.
Wow. Yeah. So, and they were clearly an entire generation ahead. But for those that don't know, GameFly it actually still exists, which is insane to me. I did not realize that.
Yeah.
A video game rental subscription service. It's very similar to Netflix. We've often referred to as the Game Pass as Netflix of gaming.
But that's kind of unfounded, really, in a sense. It's not exactly game streaming; it's more game downloading. Right. So that's a bit different.
Yeah. Whereas GameFly was the actual, for real, Netflix of gaming.
And I think the closest that we've got at the moment, obviously, I mentioned that one of them is Stadia, which is, well, RIP Stadia, let's just call it as it is.
Again, we called
it. I mean, everyone called it, to be fair. That was kind of obvious. And then, obviously, we've had GeForce Now for a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously Project xCloud, which is still in its beta stage at the moment, but I am currently using it. So that's why I wanted to mention it, because I did get some time to use it this week.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so there has been game streaming service for a very long time.
Yeah.
But I guess because of broadband, maybe, it wasn't. I really don't know. I can't say why it wasn't successful. And an interesting thing, which I did not know and only found out recently, was that in 2018, EA, of all freaking companies, actually acquired the technology and personnel from GameFly.
Oh no.
Yep. So that tells you right there, guys. We're calling it again. EA's gonna try a streaming service.
I think that's kind of obvious. Look at EA Access already. Yeah. I mean, that was their premium subscription service where they were putting games on there for early pre-orders and sort of thing. And look at how it worked for Anthem. You needed a bloody spreadsheet to understand when that game was coming out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with the acquisition that they did of them with a majority of staff and the server infrastructure.
Yeah.
We'll see EA's game streaming service probably sometime this year, if not early next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I would almost say early next year, because
beta stage for sure.
Yeah, because I bet they're gonna let the next gen come out, and then swoop in.
They'll want to have something available on the next gen consoles, but they won't have it ready in time. So it'll be, we're gonna have this beta on PC, and then but you can only access it via EA Access probably. If you're a paid premium member of EA Access, you get this for free.
That's bringing back terrible BattleNet and the other one.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to Game Enforce. What was it? GameSpy. GameSpy. That was it.
Oh my God, GameSpy. Ugh.
I don't want to go back to those days.
Nor do I. And this is where my problem lies with this, is that I heard this discussed on a few other places. One of them that I thought was quite interesting was the Spawncast, which is Spawnwave Media's podcast that he does with a load of YouTubers. He was talking about this in the recent episode with Review Tech USA, where we're basically going back to how cable TV was back in the day, where it was this
a
stupid amount of subscriptions And we're going back to it now, but with everything else. So we're going to have a subscription for Netflix, for Amazon, for Xbox, for PlayStation, and even Nintendo are involved in this. People seem to forget that Nintendo are doing game streaming via the NES and the SNES online apps.
That's absolutely
right. You
right.
don't download the games, you're playing them through the internet.
Yes.
They run well. Give them that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, they don't require much hardware to be able to do it, though, do they?
Very good point. Very good point.
And if I'm honest, playing online on them with other people is a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy to find a game, and it's not easy to stay in a lobby either.
Yeah, that's something I've frequently heard about. But that is actually true. I've actually mentioned something similar because I remember being a kid, and I don't know how it was over here in the UK, but I know for sure in the US we had what was our basic TV package, which you guys would call Freeview, but it wasn't free for us, but it was very cheap, we'll say.
But to be fair, though, although we call it Freeview, we still have to pay for BBC license fees, so that's
true.
That's where the problem lies. And
there you go.
Scrap the license fee. # scrap the license fee.
Yes, we'll get into that for sure on another episode because as an American, that's insane. But so we had our basic television service, which is it was called basic cable, I think. And then you could add the Disney Channel for $20 a month, and you could add HBO.
Not sure why you'd want to do that.
Well, I was a kid. They had Unico, which was like the only anime I could ever see.
Oh, right, okay.
I love Unico. Anyway, so you could add, Disney Channel for $20. You could add HBO for another, $22, and you could add Cinemax.
Classic bit of Skinemax.
Yeah, Showtime and all this stuff, and it did. It had all these separate, and it would just add up. And then soon they became a bundle service, and then after that it went to satellite, and you could get the entire range of channels, like HBO 1, 2, and 3, and East and West, and all this stuff, on the satellite package. And then streaming started. And everyone started dropping their cable and satellite. And I know for a fact I did because I don't like television anyway. I'm a more on-demand person.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I was an early adopter of Netflix, the streaming one. I did the DVD a couple times, but that just wasn't my thing. But the actual streaming service, when it became like a thing, I jumped on that quick. And then that's what I've noticed in the last couple of years. It's gone from, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. Hulu was probably the first one I actually watched. But then Hulu came out with Hulu Plus. Which they would charge for. And then Netflix, then Amazon Prime, then all this kind of stuff. And then before long, instead of paying your $8 a month, you're paying
$80.
Yeah, you're paying as much as you did for your cable package.
Yeah, because all these once channels that are involved in a cable package now have their own streaming services.
Exactly.
It's essentially like the same principle.
That's where I'm going with this. Is now here we are. I know that I personally have been waiting for a good Netflix of gaming.
Me too.
Yeah, and I really have enjoyed the Game Pass. I re-up every 3 months. Go to CD Keys, guys. That's the most affordable way to do it.
Just do the 12 months. It actually saves you more money that way, though.
We'll do that on CD Keys, because if you do it via the Xbox, it's ridiculously expensive.
I know it is. That's sort of what I meant. But if you do it every month, like if you do it every year, it's going to save you a little bit of money, especially if you go via CD Keys.
Yes, 100%. But, so I've kind of enjoyed this Game Pass. And then, of course, I have a Steam account. Everyone has a Steam account. And then, now it's becoming, again, this GeForce Now. I bet you EA is definitely going to have something by next year. And then you have to think, is Capcom going to start doing it? Is,
Bethesda,
I bet you Bethesda tries.
Oh yeah, it's blatantly.
Yeah.
Capcom's a bit of a different matter because it requires a lot of capital to be able to do it.
Well, that's true.
Which
That's
is
very
something
true.
Capcom doesn't necessarily have. I
And
mean,
see, but Capcom would almost be an ideal one
ah,
for that,
jeez.
because
I mean,
there's a legacy there.
if
Yeah,
they put every Street Fighter game on there, then you
exactly.
know full well I'm jumping in
I
straight away.
know. Yeah, and I may even do it just before for their arcade games.
Oh yeah,
They've got
you
that's a rich history right there.
yeah, put Captain Commando, Ghosts and Goblins on there.
Oh
You know, you
yeah, yeah.
full well that loads of people are going to be
Oh
well interested in that.
yeah. We're the prime age group target. Millennials would be absolutely the prime target for this because it
Yeah.
would be all the games from our childhood and stuff, and we'd pay for
Yeah.
that. Oh frick yeah. Okay, Capcom, get on.
No, no, don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas, Kylie. I don't need any more ideas for
Oh,
swindle money out of my pocket.
I know. Oh god. But I guess what I'm saying, and then I want to hear your point of view, is
Yeah.
I do have a kind of sinking feeling that we're going to this kind of quote cable package
Yeah.
of game streaming services.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's exactly what I feel as well. Is that we cut the cable years and years ago, to try and stop spending so much money on TV, and now we're getting it all back again in this streaming service in a completely different way.
Yes.
I mean, look at the amount of streaming services in America alone.
Mm-hmm.
HBO Go, Disney
Mm-hmm.
Plus, ESPN Now.
Oh yes.
Um,
Amazon.
you know, Amazon. What was it? Showtime.
Showtime is yep.
Yep. I mean, that's just to name a few. I can't even think of half of them in my head. I mean, even to the point where Disney Plus hasn't even launched in this country yet until
And people are
the end of March, and there are adverts on TV for it.
Yep, and people are like, they're already like, oh, I can't wait till Disney Plus is here.
Like, pre-order a streaming service. Get £10 off if you pre-order that. What?
Oh, they just. They
I
know how to
This
get your
is,
money.
well, it's Disney. This is.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to have to involve Goose again, but I was so close to saying something there that could have got a honk.
I know, but I would agree with it. So
yeah, it's just look. I don't want to have to spend all this money on stupid things that I know I'm not going to watch.
right.
I suppose that's the joyous thing about streaming services over a cable package.
Yeah.
The cable package, if you wanted certain things, you put them on, and then they were very hard to cancel.
Yes. Oh gosh.
At
yes.
least this way, you can pick and choose what you want without fear of reprisal.
That's
Because that classic joke that was on South Park was like, about the cable companies. Oh, you want to cancel this? Oh, too bad. There's no one else.
Yep, and it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's competition, so that's where the difference lies. Is that I don't take just the pessimistic stance on this. I do see this as slightly optimistic that we'll get a lot more variety from these different streaming services. But the problem that I have is that there are hundreds of them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, there are loads of them. Maybe that's might be a over exaggeration, but there are a lot of them.
And it's growing. There's going to be more. There's definitely going to be more.
Look at there's one that we failed to mention, but it's a very key one, I think, at the moment. YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube premium subscriptions.
Yes, that's right. Oh god.
Why the hell are you going to do that? You get all the content for free. They're just paying to remove the advertising.
Yeah, and they're really increasing those ads and making them more annoying so that you'll get rid of them.
Yeah, two ads, one short one and then one longer one. You can barely skip over most of them.
Exactly. And I have been a diehard YouTube fan. I've talked about it many times on here. I just love YouTubers. I don't know why. It's just my thing. And
I just love YouTube. I think the platform itself is fantastic.
I do too. And it's getting harder and harder to find enjoyment in it because even if you put it on a playlist now and you go about your day or whatever,
it's great.
The ads crop up in the middle and they're louder than the thing, and You have to wait, like you said, you have to wait till you hit like 30 seconds or something before you can even skip, and oh no, there's another one right behind it. Or it'll go to that stupid survey one that doesn't move forward. You have to walk back to your computer and skip it.
Yeah.
And
they are really.
It's gotten bad, and I think they are becoming annoying on purpose so that you'll pay to remove those ads, and that actually makes me think: are we going to then be playing games, and let's say Subnautica, and then up in the corner, the lower right hand corner, there's an ad for I don't know, Lay's potato chips or something. I will hate that. I will hate that with a soul burning hate.
Me too. And to be honest with you, I think they called it dead on. There was an animation I used to watch back in the day on Flash Player. Newgrounds and using Flash Player, all that sort of thing. Yes, I'm a boomer. I get it.
Way back machine.
So there was an animation. I think I've linked you onto it, haven't I?
Probably.
It's the decline of video gaming. It was an animation that came out where they actually made a skit about it, about Resident Evil having targeted adverts in them.
Yes.
Especially when it says, "Oh, if you order now, you can get free Zombrex or zombie spray or something."
Yeah.
And it's like just Claire just saying, "Oh, this helps me out when it comes to those pesky zombies," and she sprays them. It's like, as a comedic as it was back in the early 2000s for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is getting there, and I think they were dead on.
Yes.
And it's a worrying trend to where we are now.
Yeah.
That I really, really hope that we're not going to get adverts in the streaming services, despite the fact that we are paying, a premium. Yes. I've got them in Amazon Prime when I was watching Futurama. A couple of episodes go down and I get an advert. It's like, but I'm paying for your service.
Well, that's like a perfect example is Twitch. Because I really do. I love Let's Players. So, okay, sign on to Twitch, start watching Let's Players. Okay, become a part of the community. Okay, ads start showing up. Well, if you buy Amazon Prime, we'll get rid of the ads. Okay, so I do that.
Oh yeah, you've now got Twitch Prime because of it.
Yeah, now they still show you ads if you have Amazon Prime, and they want you to get Twitch Prime. And I almost bet I haven't made that step yet, but I almost bet that if you do, in a few months there'll be ads there too.
Of course there will. You get one free sub every month because of Twitch Prime.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is dumb.
That's so dumb. I'm sorry, but it is.
Ooh. It's poor value for money.
It really is. Ugh, and I don't know. I hate this. I mean, on one hand, it's a brave new world of entertainment, and we've got it all at our fingertips now. It's my childhood dream come true.
Yeah, of course.
But on the other hand,
it's becoming the cable subscription nightmare that you had back in the two.
Exactly, and like one thing that always appealed to getting Disney Channel and HBO and Showtime and all that was that they didn't show commercials, and that's why you paid a premium price.
Yeah, exactly.
And then before I left the US, I had satellite, but I had it on Disney Channel for something, and an ad came on, and I was confused. Now, I think it was an ad for, like Disney's own products, but it was weird because I'm not used to that. I don't know how it is now, obviously, because I just don't watch TV. But, but the idea that they've probably snuck commercials in on all the premium channels as well. And I don't understand that. If people are paying a premium price, how are you not making your bills each month? Or is it just greed,
I don't know, really, to be honest. But I mean, for that as an example, is BBC. BBC are the worst offenders for it. That they claim to not have advertising at all.
Do though?
Oh, they do because they're only ever advertising their own products.
Right.
So it's still advertising, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because that was one thing when I first visited here, which was long ago in 2009. I very first visited here, so it was my very first, seeing the BBC. We have BBC America, but it's very different. It's not the same.
Let me guess, it's adverts all over the place.
BBC America, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. But here I noticed, like, you could watch an entire show, and then, like, the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes is all commercials. Or all ads. I liked that setup, but I was also very confused, kind of just what you said. I'd always been told that the BBC didn't have commercials or ads. And here they were. I was watching them.
Yeah, of course.
It was a very confusing thing. But to be fair, I did like that they put them all at the end of the show. Whereas,
beginning and the end, it's always like massive amounts of adverts. I mean, I'll take example. The weird one was obviously where it was an NBC show over in America, but Heroes, when it played over here, was on BBC Two. So we would have it so that normal programs over here, if they've got ad breaks, would be an hour long. Right. But you'd literally look at the listings, it's 45 minutes. I'm like, why is it only 45 minutes? Oh, it's because it hasn't got adverts in the middle of it. Of course. And that was so nice to actually see. But then, obviously, you've got a couple of adverts like at the beginning and the end of the show, you know?
Yeah.
So it kind of alleviated in that. They sort of blocked all the adverts in to get in this section right at the end. And it's...
But now I'm thinking about being in a waiting room, like in a lobby, let's say on Halo. And... Or even Overwatch, even, where you're just jumping around and, you know, being bored, hanging out in the lobby. And then they start showing you ads. I don't think I would like that very much.
They kind of have got it already, though, haven't they?
In a way, they
Fortnite?
have. Yeah. Fortnite's just one big one.
Yeah, they're just advertising new skins, new guns, new this and that.
That's true.
They are technically doing it, but it's for their own products. They're taking the BBC route, technically.
That's exactly it, which will then lead to other things. And then,
So
I am getting kind of like, on one hand... What?
Actually, sorry, can I rescind that point?
Yes.
Because Worst Offender Capcom are back at it.
Oh, gosh.
Street Fighter 5 has it. Earn free fight money for targeted adverts.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Or they call it sponsored content.
Yes, sponsored content. Yeah. That's where we're headed.
You can turn it off. Fine.
No. So we'll give you points for it.
Yeah.
For making you watch it. Yeah, because I have some mobile games that do that. So I'm afraid that's where we're headed. But speaking of mobile games, I want you to talk about your experience with game streaming this week.
So... I actually played one of the games on the service, so I'm going to play more of it and feedback over the couple of weeks because I'm due to get a new phone. My one's kind of sucky, so I've just been using it on an old one. So I played Batman: The Telltale series, series 2, The Enemy Within. I haven't played it for very long, but it seems very stable. I'm very surprised at how fluent it is.
Now, explain the service you're going through and how you're doing it.
So it's Project xCloud. So Project xCloud is in beta form at the moment for Android, mainly for Android. They have got an iOS version, but there's only got one game on it. This has only just been rolled out.
Right.
It's by sign up only, and they might not actually get you into it. So I got lucky in the fact that, obviously, as a new Xbox customer, I guess...
Yes.
They might have said, "Oh, let's give them this because it might keep them on our service a little bit."
Yeah.
So this apparently is what they're working on for the future of the Xbox brand. That Project xCloud could be used on any number of devices. So your Android or iOS tablets, phones, maybe even Kindles. Who knows? Stream it via a computer or whatever, even via an Xbox 2. And I'm very impressed with the service so far, even though it is only in beta.
That's good to hear. That's a good thing.
The only thing that's letting it down is, like we've spoken about earlier, is to do with latency.
Yes.
That is obvious. That was always going to be the case because you're streaming it. Is always going to be a little bit of input latency.
Right.
But the nice thing is it hasn't got touch controls. You can have touch controls on if you really want to.
Right.
But it's the fact that your Xbox controller is Bluetooth enabled, which every phone now has.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I was able to hook my controller up with no issues, and it worked remarkably well.
So
for something that is in a beta stage,
right,
it probably is better than Stadia. RIP Stadia.
yes, absolutely. So I know you've only been really doing it for a week, but this early on, do you feel like it's something that you would pursue? Should they add far more games and stuff like that?
So I'll go through if I can, and I'll see if I can try and give you a list of the games that are currently available via xCloud on an Android device. So let me just load this up. But I am thoroughly impressed so far. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to go with it straight up.
Yeah,
because it needs more work.
Yeah, I want to know that, and also, is this something, and realizing it is in beta, that you would pay money for?
Well, it'll probably be included in your Xbox Live account.
I assume it's going to be.
I think that's what they're going for. Is if you've got Xbox Live Gold or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or something like that, this will be included in the service.
I absolutely think that will happen, but I think, as Xboxes want to do, they'll have a little side like, oh, get it this month for 99p.
Yeah, they might do, but I think they'd be dumb to do that. If they included this as part of an Xbox Live account, perfect. I think this would open it up to the masses.
I agree, 100%.
Okay, so we've got some good games on here, actually, that are running. So, like I said, Batman, Telltale, they've got both Sting 1 and 2. Plague Tale Innocence, Absolver, Ace Combat 7, Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh, neat.
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I'm just naming a few. Borderlands 2. Yes. Borderlands the pre-sequel.
I saw that one advertised on
City Skylines.
Oh, cool.
They've got the campaign of Crackdown 3, not that anyone cares. Darksiders 3, DayZ, Destiny 2, Devil May Cry 5, Farming Simulator 17, not sure why 17 is on there.
It's weird.
Forza Horizon 4, Forza 7, Gears 5, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Halo 5. Sorry, I don't know why I mentioned that.
That doesn't exist, so you didn't say anything.
Okay.
You cut out there.
Good. We'll stick with that.
Yeah.
So, Master Chief Collection.
Yes.
Hello Neighbor. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Journey to the Savage Planet. That's a recent game as well.
That is, yeah.
Oh, I'm so playing that.
Oh.
I've heard so many good things about that game.
If we haven't reviewed it, maybe do a review on it.
Maybe.
Or just tell me if it's any good.
Sure. Okay. I mean, that's just a list. The last one I include is Killer Instinct. So that's just a list. And I'm only going down as far as the K's at the moment.
Yeah, that is actually...
But that is crazy, right?
That's pretty good. I have to admit. I mean... And
there is a huge list of games. It's mad.
I'm liking it. Now, here's my next question, and then, we'll sum up and then move to listener questions.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think streaming services, God, that is hard to say. Game streaming services, do you think that will make things like, and I'm saying like, not this thing exactly, the Switch or any of the handheld gaming devices obsolete if you can play them on your phone, your tablet, your home? Doesn't it make everything a Switch, if that makes sense?
No, absolutely not. I don't agree with that point.
Okay.
I think it entails more options to people, especially those who don't necessarily want to have to spend £400 to £500 on an entertainment unit.
Yes.
So, like a box that plays a game. Yeah. This way, everyone has a phone. Yes, okay, let's go into that. Do you not have phones? Yes, we do. We just don't have to pay for Diablo Immortal.
Oh gosh.
So,
anyway,
but we have phones. We have that option available to us. having more choice is a good idea. I don't see that as a problem. It's just the whole service becomes muddled when there's too much competition.
I agree. One thing I've expressed on here, and I very much am against monopolies, except for the game. I like the game. Monopolies as an economic entity, I'm very against them. But on the opposite side of that is basically what you said. You can have too much choice. And so I kind of wonder, I just as a thought exercise, how these streaming services are going to affect Nintendo's next stage.
I don't think it will.
I want to see that. I want to see they're so good at giving innovation and giving their core audience what they want. Which the other two are not good at.
Okay. Well, shall we talk about that one in terms of infrastructure? I don't think we will.
No, but that brings up another point. They're not known for having the best internet infrastructure, and so they'll be up against full-fledged streaming services. Or like EA acquiring cloud gaming technology assets and personnel from GameFly. This is stuff that's been, years in the making. I am very interested. I'm absolutely going to be watching what's going to happen. I think Nintendo's going to have to add something as this starts to pick up steam, which is not a pun. As it starts to pick up steam and, move into the more common thing. Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree. I don't think... I think the thing is about Nintendo is that they always manage to post in terms of innovation.
They do.
They always know what their customers want in terms in terms of hardware, Nobody wanted motion controls, but everyone dealt with the motion controls because actually some of the experiences we had were amazing.
Right.
So, I mean, I would love to go back and play Mario Galaxy without a motion control waggling thing, but to be honest, I'd go back and play that game because it's an amazing game.
It is a good game. It is, absolutely.
So, I think so long as Nintendo stay true to what they are, which is about the experience, then I don't think they necessarily need to dip their toes into this for at least another 20 years. Because that's probably how long it's going to take them to get this up to scratch.
Yes.
I don't have confidence in Nintendo pulling something like this off, but I have a lot of confidence in Microsoft pulling this off because they've got the resources and the infrastructure available to them to do this well, and they've already proven that in a beta.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the whole thing that we mustn't forget either, is that Microsoft was an entire company before they launched the Xbox, and Sony has its finger in so many different technological areas. And yes, Nintendo's been around since the 1800s, but it's primarily a Nintendo console thing.
It always has been, and I think not always, because they started out as a playing card company.
Exactly. I was gonna say, I think they did poker cards or something in the 1800s.
Yeah, they did.
That's so
Did
cool.
you actually know that they actually made those plug and play consoles?
Yeah.
They actually made some of those back in the 70s.
Oh my goodness! Of course.
Yeah, before they had the NES, they actually had those.
See, and that's what's so funny about Nintendo is they actually do stuff ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And then everyone else does it, and yet it was never really that strong technology because Nintendo's not so great at hardware. But it is weird, that they always kind of lead and then the others follow.
Just look at the Power Glove. Power Glove had motion controls back in the 90s, and it was a miserable mess.
It was.
And then they revived that again with the older, with the Wii. The same with the Virtual Boy. Yep. They did 3D.
3D stereoscopic 3D. Yeah.
And therefore it came onto the 3DS. Mm-hmm. They are slightly ahead of the curve because they don't have the infrastructure available to be able to make it perfect.
So they have to innovate.
They come back to it eventually. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably see that again.
Yeah. But for the listeners out there, we would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on the future of game streaming.
What do you think?
Yeah, we'll give you the whole connecty to us thing later. My brain might be getting tired.
We'll give you the socials later.
Yeah, the digits. But we would like to know your opinions, your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree? Do you have a whole different point of view that we didn't consider? Because that is both of our favorite thing. I am speaking for both of us, but I also know we love that kind of stuff. Game streaming, the future of it. Let us know. But now, we're going to move on to listener questions.
Okay. So I'm going to take this one first because this is actually an additional question from 2D Mike at 2D Mike 3D. Mm-hmm. This is in addition to his question from last week about that low budget TV person coming around.
Yeah.
So he continues. Later that day, the newly appointed major.
Yeah, I read it as mayor first too.
Yeah, I'm so blind, honestly. So the newly appointed major embarrassment, turns up at your door and wants to borrow a book from your collection. What do you give him?
Well, I definitely don't give him The Art of War, because with the name of Major Embarrassment, I'm going to avoid that one.
And I definitely don't give him the Anarchist Cookbook.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, we'll keep those in our collections.
I mean, to be fair, I'd be happy giving him like Bart Simpson's Guide to Life, to be honest.
Oh, there you go.
That's a great book if you haven't read that.
Yeah, no, that one is good, actually.
Hilarious.
But see, it depends. Is he a major for the military that's protecting me, or
I don't know.
Let's say that he is. No, I honestly, my absolute favorite book, and I will reference it many times, is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. And before you roll your eyes, listeners, and go, "Oh, you're so basic," well, but here's the thing.
I know what you're going to say, and I hate you for it because it now means that I can get something. So go on.
No. It's very interesting that the kind of the American history of this book. I say book, guys. It's a trilogy that's made up of 5 books, if you didn't know. And okay, so from an American point of view, and I'll try to do this quickly.
Sure.
We had Douglas Adams meant nothing over here. We didn't have the BBC radio shows. Late at night, sometimes on PBS, you could see the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy TV show.
Yeah, I'd say the closest you got to that really was actually having the movie in 2005.
Well, see, now this is before, like right before. I didn't know anything. The movie wasn't even. I think the movie was a rumor. I know it's because it was about 12 years old.
Yep.
And I was walking in my school's library, and I was an avid reader, like big time. And I do still. I choose books based on their covers. I don't care.
Sure.
Sometimes if the cover's good, the story's good. And all I knew was that I pulled this book out, and it's like falling apart. Its pages are yellow, but there's this green smiley face guy on the front with his thumb up.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I love him. And then it said,
it's so cool.
Yeah, and it was like, Don't Panic was on there. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I love it. And then I flipped it open to the first page. It would have like an excerpt, just to see if you'd be into this book or whatever. And I read it, and it was the point where Arthur is on the ship, and it dawns on him that the Earth is gone. But it's written so hilarious. I busted out laughing in the library.
It's hilarious. It's utterly hilarious.
I laughed out loud in a library, 12 years old, surrounded by a bunch of other 12 years old who looked at me like I was insane. And
yep,
they're
of
like,
course.
Oh, so is it just that funny? And I was like, actually, yes, it is. And I went and checked it out. I laughed the whole way through.
Yep.
And once I finished that, that's when I got on the net and found out who Douglas Adams was. I found out all the huge collections there were of these books and the radio shows and the television show, and then
you just binged.
I did, and I still have my. It's very worn. It's a copy of, and this would be the book that I would hand Major Embarrassment. It, like, they used to tease me at school because they thought it was a Bible. It's a leather-bound copy of all of the books with gold gilt pages and
my God,
satin ribbon. Yes. And
the satin ribbon, no. Oh, yeah, actually. I'm looking at my version of it right now.
Are you really?
6 Stories by Douglas Adams, the ultimate hitchhiker's guide.
Yes, that's it. Oh, my gosh.
I bought it in Poland, and it is one of my prized possessions.
Oh, that's so funny. Yes, that was my prized possession as well.
It's so awesome.
It is. It is. It's so good. It's so good. And then, so that right there, I would give to anyone. I actually do. When I have just random copies of Hitchhiker, because if I see it at like a resale shop, I'll just pick it up.
Of course.
And then I'll pass it on to people just because it makes me laugh so much. Yes, and they rarely get it, especially Americans. Americans are they just. I remember trying to get my sister to read it, and she was like, "I don't understand why you think this is funny." So yes.
That is an amazing book, like set of books, because it's got. I mean, I love it. It is one of my prized possessions, but it's not the book that I give.
Yes. What would you give? I'm so curious about this.
Well, there is a movie based on this book that I'm not going to mention the name because it's crazy, really. It's a very interesting sort of movie, a very interesting sort of book as well. It's about a drug bender.
Right.
It's basically 72 hours spent in Las Vegas being as crazily mashed off your head as possible.
I can't guess what this book is, but yes, go on.
It's by a guy who is unfortunately no longer with us by the name of Hunter S. Thompson.
Right. Yes.
And the inventor of gonzo journalism.
Yes.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
That's it. Yeah.
That movie, that film, that book is mind-boggling. It is insane, and it is one of my most favourite books of all time. I love it. I love it.
I had the very, very, very huge privilege of, when I was trying to become a journalist, of working with one of his proteges. And she would regale me with the tales of his... he was high all the time, guys. He was just high
of course he was. I mean, there's a moment in the book. It's so funny. Is where him and his attorney are just about to go into Circus, I think, and they're taking ether from the back of from the boot of the car, and they're just literally walking like they're so drunk, and it's so very clear that you can tell that they are absolutely off their crust. It's so funny, though.
Yeah, like he really did live that way, and it's authentic. It's real. It's good. That's a good.
And that's what I was going to say about it is actually that Johnny Depp's portrayal in the 1998 movie, made by Terry Gilliam, actually.
Yes.
It's absolutely spot on because Johnny Depp actually went and spent a couple of months with Hunter S. Thompson himself and lived at his house for a fair while and got absolutely everything down to a point, even the way he smoked his cigarettes.
Yes,
it's mad.
Oh yeah. I mean, to go off topic as we usually do, Johnny Depp has gotten a lot of flack. And while he's not my favorite actor, I'm glad to see that people they're letting him back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was wrong. They jumped to conclusions and... Yeah.
I think if you go back and look at his film work from before the early... before 2000s, he was in some superb movies.
Yes, he was.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like I've mentioned, What's Eating Gilbert Grape. You know,
Now that's
utterly superb movies, and
that movie.
It can't be understated. It's like how good of an actor he actually was.
Yeah.
But it's the long time sort of Pirates of the Caribbean films and stuff like that, where it was all about the money.
Yeah.
I think, and it's it took away from his acting prowess, which I'm really disappointed about.
Yeah, I mean that is disappointing because he's never been really recognized. For his acting, and I think that's a disservice because I do think he's actually very talented. Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll move off topic again.
But it had to be mentioned because I mentioned fear of living in Las Vegas. So, right. So we'll take this question from Thomas at LlamaFly42 because we've spoken about Microsoft.
Yes.
So, but this is to do with a competition.
Yes.
So, why do you think Sony have been relatively silent on the PS5 so far? And do you think this strategy is working in terms of building hype?
Now, I kind of spoke something to this. Was it last week? Last week, the week before. They all blend together.
Yeah.
I absolutely 1000% still believe that Sony learned from their last experience that if they wait long enough, Microsoft will put out its specs, which it has now done.
Yeah, that's why I left this question for a week because I had a feeling that Microsoft were doing something.
Yeah. So now they get to see what the specs are, and they get to see the audience reaction, so that they will then build on that on their own hype train, for lack of a better phrase. But
of course,
I absolutely think that they are being quiet on purpose to watch the reaction.
Yeah, they did this with the PS4. I think they learnt their lesson from the PS3 when they literally put everything out on the table. $600. Oh dear.
Yeah, and then just the blowback from that was just. Ugh.
Yeah, it basically gave Microsoft a free win for a while anyway, because the PS3 obviously then came up and ended up selling a large amount of consoles after the multiple revisions, and it just happened like that, It's just strange, but I think this is a very interesting place to be in the fact that if they wait too long, then they're going to kill their own hype.
I have to agree. There is, what is it called? Anticipation fatigue, I believe is what it's called. It's a natural human response where you can anticipate things and that can build and build and build. And then once you don't hit that apex, it just... You're fatigued of it. You're tired of it. You don't even care anymore. Like the care is gone. And so, yes, you can hold on too long, and that will happen.
Yep, absolutely. And I think obviously, with everything that's going on with the Asian countries with the coronavirus and all that sort of thing, it's kind of understandable that they're playing it quiet because I'm probably sure that they're not sure what's going on at the moment, like a lot of other people are.
That's actually a good point. I am going to interrupt for just a second and say...
Yeah, you go ahead.
Only because a lot of my manufactured products come from China.
Yeah.
And I made a public announcement that my company would cease importing from China for just the foreseeable future. Just, the next little while, just to see how it all goes. I'm not the only one that did that. Apparently a bunch of people have done that.
Everyone's kind of done that because you can't feasibly rely on getting an importation because from an area that is affected by quite a large global pandemic.
Exactly.
Because we'll look at The Simpsons here, when Homer gets a package and they get Asian flu.
Yes.
Because someone's coughed in a box.
Yeah, and so I'm constantly reading the the Bloomberg report and all the business stuff, not the political stuff. I'm strictly talking about business crap. And there's a lot of kind of I don't want to say fear, that's too strong of a word. There's a lot of wondering what's going to happen because China has not produced anything in the last 3 months. That's going to have ripple effects. First of all, it's going to be long-term ripple effects in the cost of products and in the timing of products. So I will be keeping an eye on both Microsoft and Sony to see how that, because some of those components are built and made and put together in China.
Quite a lot of the world's technology and electronics are actually built in China, to be fair.
Yeah, most of Apple's stuff is.
Oh, yeah.
And, they're already, they projected a pretty significant loss in this next quarter coming up. And it hasn't even happened yet, and they're already projecting it.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Well, projections are done quite long in advance, so it doesn't always come to be, but that's what they call it, a projection.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you as a business person would know that.
Yeah,
straight off the bat.
For them to have even said it to their investors, because you don't ever want to upset your board. Although technically, I don't have a board. I'm a CEO of me.
You are the board.
I am the board right now until I do some stuff next year. But But other CEOs of big giant companies, mine's an SMB, but a big giant company, they have an entire board, and you don't want to upset the board because that's your investors.
Of course.
So they tend to couch the language very carefully, and a lot of people are walking on eggs right now with the whole the markets are kind of getting kind of scared and gonna go down and stuff like that. So for Apple to have actually said that publicly, we're projecting a loss, that's gonna be felt all around the technological sector.
Of course.
So I would keep an eye on Sony. Well, I'd keep an eye on all of them. But, I mean, Sony, I want to see how they're going to handle this because I've read that there's even the quarantines are about to start in Japan as well, which, of course, is where Sony's headquarters is.
Same with Nintendo.
Yeah. Golly. So, it'll be interesting to see how this releases go this holiday season.
Of course. Yeah. So I would have said this is building hype for sure, in a sense, but obviously because of the ongoing crisis, call it crisis, shall we now? It's having a massive effect on a lot of other things. So I don't necessarily think that Sony are holding back just because of building hype. I think they're holding back because they're not sure about what they're actually going to be able to put in the machine if there is an ongoing ban with stuff coming in from China.
I think you're 100% right. Absolutely. I think that's very accurate projection.
Yes, there you go. We made projection.
Yes.
Okay, so last question. We got another food one from the FYX podcast on Twitter. Please go and listen to Gaming FYX podcast.
Yeah.
So they come to us with what's the best pizza topping, excluding sauce and cheese.
I was sure we talked about this one before.
We may have done, but there is only one.
I was gonna say it's pizza. Well, yes, I have a feeling I know what you're gonna say, but I'm gonna say, for me, because I've worked in pizza places.
Yes, you regaled us with your pizza shop stuff before.
Tales. Oh my gosh. The pizza I came up with for my own personal self, which is a bacon, onion, tomato pizza with extra cheese, dipped in ranch dressing.
Honest, extra tomatoes.
Oh yeah, I could do extra tomatoes. Yes. Tomatoes.
No. They come out like massive balls of lava, and that's disgusting.
They do. That is true.
Oh, it's horrible.
I mean, yeah. But like I said before on the pineapple question, if you wait and put them on afterwards, the flavor changes. Okay. It's
fair enough.
Yeah, it is. Believe it or not, it's not slimy. It's not burning your freaking mouth off from the heat.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because the cheese does that already enough.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, I want to know what yours is.
Funnily enough, I actually went to Asda yesterday because they do the create your own pizza counter there.
Oh yeah.
I believe that the one that's nearest to me is actually shutting down, so I went to go and stock up a little bit. So I got 2 14-inch pizzas.
Nice.
So one of them actually had chorizo, steak, and mushroom.
Oh, yes.
And the other one had pepperoni, mushroom, and red peppers.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, red onion.
Red onion, yeah. Either one's good.
So for me, I think you can clearly tell there is one ingredient doesn't go. There you go. I love mushrooms. I could eat them raw. I could eat them cooked. I could do whatever with them as long as it's not sexual. You know. Yeah, I love mushrooms. Always have, always, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you could pick, if it had to be like, okay, say the zombie apocalypse has come upon us, and there's only one pizza shop ever again, and you have access to it, and they only have one topping, besides cheese and sauce, they only have one topping, what would you pick?
That would probably have to be either mushroom or chorizo. I do love me some chorizo.
Chorizo is very good. I would pick pepperoni.
Pepperoni's a good option too.
Yeah.
Because it sort of feels that chorizo without being chorizo.
Exactly. It's a little tiny less greasy, but
I mean, basically what you're saying is you like sausage.
I do.
Moving on.
We will move on.
And that brings us to the end of our show.
That is the end of this episode 20. 20. So if you're out there and you want to connect with us, you can always find us at our home on www.rapidreviews.uk. No!
.uk.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Okay, ignore that. rapidreviewsuk.com.
Yep.
And then you can find us on Twitter at Rapid Reviews UK, at our podcast specific Twitter at RR Radio Pod, and definitely our email address where we would love to hear feedback, which is podcast@rapidsreviewuk.com.
Yes.
Now, everything I've forgotten, Pete will now mention it.
Okay, so you can also follow Rapid Reviews on Facebook. Just search Rapid Reviews UK.
Yes.
You can follow myself on Twitter at Pete Beckett1.
Yeah.
And you can follow Kiley at Kiley to Greet.
Yes. Come join us. Come along. Have some fun.
One thing we always say it, but I actually haven't mentioned it on there. But they're always in the show notes anyway. So if you can't remember it, just go and give it a click.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I
don't think anyone realizes I actually...
Yes, you prep big time. Like...
Everything.
And that's why I've said it before, but I'm going to say it until the end of time. This show would absolutely not be possible with Pete because he does everything.
Nearly everything. You're going to get back on social next week.
I am. Yeah. Yeah, the 1 week I remembered to do it, we had enough questions in the bank. So
maybe you should do it more frequently because then we get 7 questions.
That's right. I know. I will lay down the gauntlet again.
You shall.
Yes. But that leaves one last thing. So
yeah, it's game fact time, peoples.
Yeah, hit us with that game fact.
So, do you happen to know about a Game Boy title called Final Fantasy Legend 2?
No.
Okay. So, there's a Game Boy game called Final Fantasy Legend 2, if you hadn't already realised that.
Okay.
That in the Japanese version of the game, the player encountered a group of opium smugglers.
Oh wow.
But due to Nintendo's censorship guidelines, wouldn't allow that to fly in the US version.
Right.
So, instead of selling opium, the drug dealers were forced to peddle bananas in back alleys.
That's awesome.
So basically what we're saying is that one of Nintendo's iconic characters, Donkey Kong, is actually a drug dealer.
Oh my gosh.
And we'll end on that.
Oh, that is brilliant. I love it. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by another week. It makes us feel great, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Catch you on the flip side. Yeah. Bye.